guys, thanks for tuning in. This is optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Generation Leader Class, Jetfire. Taking a look at the packaging first. As you can see, you have the very nice Transformer Generation motif going. This is part of the Thrilling 30 and it has an advanced transformation. Although, it really doesn't look all that complicated, to be totally honest. Now, in the packaging here, you can see that he's more done up to look like, well, Jetfire, based off of the G1 toy. But what's really cool about this figure is, not only did they throw that sort of homage in there, but they also made it so that you can make him look like Skyfire from the actual cartoon, which is terrific. I love how they were able to actually incorporate both of those sort of things and avoid being sued by certain people. You come around here to the side, you do see that it is, like I said, part of the Thrilling 30. This is number 21 of 30. Then on the back, well, you got the side here, you got that whole thing. Then on the back, you see that he's got his removable battle helmet, which does show his more Skyfire sort of look, in addition to the rest of his robot mode, and then you got his jet mode. And it says, Jetfire is ancient and powerful, but he would prefer to stay hidden in the background rather than on the front lines. He's a peaceful robot at heart, preferring the stately, ordered excitement of science to the frenzy of battle. But the reckless abandon of the Decepticons and the senseless violence of their war sickened him. So he left Cybertron to go into hiding. He slumbered in peace for years, reawakening by the arrival of the war on Earth. He decided once again to enter the fight, this time on the side of the Autobots, and this time to end it for good, whatever the cost. Which does have a little bit of throwback to his original cartoon sort of story, where he was a scientist along with Starscream, but he didn't leave Cybertron to go and hide. He left with Starscream to explore the galaxy and stuff. So, whatever. Who cares what the bio says? It's finally a Jetfire figure that is in a good Jetfire size for classics. So, without further ado, let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Leader Class Jetfire opened up and out of his packaging. And if you don't want to hear me gush, I'll completely understand if you want to turn this video off. But as it stands right now, this is my favorite generation figure that I've gotten in a long time. Now, that doesn't mean that the figure doesn't have some problems. It's not 100% perfect, but I just really love almost everything in this. As you can see, he does come with a lot of chrome weapons. Now, people will probably complain about the chrome. That's something that I do kind of wish that it was actually taken off. I would really like it if it was just the regular red plastic. As you can see on my gun right here, I'm just going to zoom in. You can actually see a few places like around that actual hole right there. I just saw it like right there. You got some of this chrome that's already starting to flake off, and that bugs me. I do wish that they actually kept all the chrome bits as just regular red plastic. Now, that's not to say that it's bad. It does look pretty good, and I do appreciate them putting a more premium sort of paint in this, especially since this is a leader figure and there is some parts about it that feels more simplified. So I do appreciate that they put a little bit of effort into this to give a more premium sort of look. But jet mode, this thing is really very nice. Now, you can take the wings and you can fold them in. It is an absolute gorgeous looking jet mode. Everything on here looks really very nice. This is a rubber piece here. You got a nice Autobot logo there. You come around here to the bottom. You do have the actual chest piece, which from certain angles, like when you're looking at it like this, it looks kind of weird. You do have landing gear. I'm just going to tuck that up. It does kind of look weird, like he's flying and there's a cockpit underneath the main cockpit, which is strange. But I don't think it looks too terribly bad. You do have his cockpit that can open up. You got two different seats there. So I do like that actually does open. You can actually take that rear stabilizer sort of fins, and you can actually lift these up if you wanted to create that look. But really nice. You come around the back, you see a ton of thrusters. You got the arms, or actually the shoulders, that look like thrusters. You got regular thrusters here, you got some thrusters up on there, so this guy's all thrustered up. Come around here to the bottom though, you can see all of his extra gun storage. These pieces do just peg in, so you can remove all of these, and you can see his landing gear is permanently exposed here in the back. And then when you put this on here, you have that landing gear still. Now, one thing that I would say is that you can tell by the handle that this is just red plastic, it seems like, and then it's vac metal on the outside, so it looks good, but as I said, I wish they would have left it red. Now, one other thing is I really do wish that there was some paint details on here. On the actual artwork and the instructions, there's some actual black paint, like in the barrel area. You got that. This barrel kind of thing right here is all painted black. That's painted black. That's painted black. I can see some more chrome bits that are coming off, and that's really unfortunate because it does look really cool. I'm almost wondering if Takara will give us a version that doesn't have the chrome, doing the opposite thing that Hasbro does. Now, for comparison in jet mode, here's the original G1, and as you can see, certain companies that don't like Hasbro will never let them make a sort of G1 looking Jetfire. But this looks pretty close, but you can see that there is a very noticeable difference, which without a doubt makes Hasbro get away with it. But one thing that I'd like to point out is if they had the black on here, it would look much more G1 accurate. You got all these little black bits on here. You come down here, you got the black along the side there. I mean, the arms have a little bit of black, like right on the back section here. So there is a lot that I think they could have added to the original, or to the new figure that the original had, that really would have just given that extra sort of homage and accuracy to it. One thing that I also really do appreciate is when you look at this, this whole section, and this is very minor, but you got these little ridges and everything right on the inside there. It really does remind me of how this is. You got the little black, that thruster sort of thing right there, and you got that also on here. I mean, it's subtle little things like that that I really appreciate. You know, and then you can take the wings and you can tuck these back any way that you want, much like you can with this. So, I mean, again, it looks very similar, but it's obviously very different, but still gives you that G1 Jetfire toy sort of look and feel. Now for another comparison, here we have him next to the original classic version of Jetfire here in his jet mode. And again, there is some similarities here, but you can absolutely see that this has a much more accurate look, I guess, to that original G1 Jetfire figure. Primarily here in like the nose cone area. I mean, this is just really kind of weird, and I've honestly have forgotten everything about this figure until I just recently transformed it. It's not bad, but when you compare it to what we have now, it's leaps and bounds better than what we got before. As you can see, size-wise, though, it is a little bit smaller, and this is a Voyager, and obviously it's a Voyager from many years ago, so sizes were a little bit different then, but it just looks so much nicer here with the leader figure. But Jet Mode, I really think, is a very nice representation of the character. Now, it doesn't have that cartoon Skyfire look necessarily. You can remove all of these and just doing that real quick. This just clips in just like so. You got the little clip points right there. You can straighten this out, and then all these guns can come off, and you can create a more jet sort of look for him. But honestly, for me, I really do think, when I detached his leg, I really do think that this just gives a nicer look to it. One thing about this that I really don't understand is it has a swivel on here. I don't see why it has it, and then just clipping that on, you can see, and it's like a ratcheted kind of swivel. So I don't have any clue whatsoever why you would want that. It's kind of strange, but some really nice detail on here. I love how they actually have guns molded in here on the side and painted. If you remember, he had guns kind of on the side. I think they actually came out of his little intake things right here, but I like that they actually included that, and they painted it. It looks great. A lot of real nice panel detail lines on here, just simple but elegant enough that it really does convey what this character is meant for. Now something else that's really nice is, much like the original G1 toy, the Leader Class Jetfire can transform without removing any of these bits. You can take them off, but you don't have to. And the transformation itself does have a bit of an updated sort of feel to that original G1 toy. So starting off first, we're going to come here, we're going to take the landing gear, tuck that up, and I'm going to detach this, angle this back just like so. You can hear it really heavily clicks into place there, which is nice. Just kind of flop that up there. These back wings, these are going to detach here along the side, kind of pulling them off from the legs just like that, and then give this a nice little wiggle, and they're going to accordion upwards once you get it extended all the way, so you can see it extends just like that. Then just lift this up like so, and then you can bring this down just like so. I guess when you're talking about the rotation, you can rotate this around and then put this up like this for more of a G1 robot look. I suppose that's probably actually the purpose, to be totally honest. I didn't even think about that before. Then just take this right here. You want to push down here at the bottom to loosen these panels, and then lift these forward just like so. Come around here to the bottom. Then this whole section here, this is a little bit tough to do because it wedges in there fairly securely. You want to sort of, here we're just going to angle up a little bit. You want to sort of push here on this side and wiggle this forward, and then this whole section will rotate this out. It's a little bit tricky because you got to get the clearance, and you have to make sure that these are nice and straight. But once you do, you can just straighten this out just like that. Again, just get that out of the way. Then you can take these and actually fold these up if you want. Then these legs, these detached, and then just rotate these around. They're going to come all the way around here just like so, and then these arms, kind of angle these out. These split apart like that there. You can angle these just like that. Then bring this whole section up, and then when you do that, you can also bring these legs down. Rotate the legs up here at the upper part of the hip so that you can get things positioned a little bit better. You can clip these along the side. Let's see here, get that put in there. There we go. And then bring this up. That will lock in there. Bring these arms down, and then you got a little clip point right here on the side. Get these wings up, and then actually you got a little tab section right here that this is going to tab into, so you kind of have to tab that in on his wings there, then bring this up and push this there on the inside, locking that arm there. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that down, clip that in just like so. This clipped in already for me, which is perfect. You can rotate the arms there, rotate the head around, come down here to the feet. These just fold forward like so, just like so. Straighten him out, kind of spread his arm or his legs a little bit. And here you have the Leader Class Jetfire transformed and in his robot mode. And in robot mode, this guy just absolutely shines. Now, granted, as a Leader Class figure, some people would expect a little bit more. The transformation is a little bit more simple. He is actually a little bit smaller than previous Leader Class figures that we've gotten, and there's no lights or sounds or anything like that. So a lot of people are just going to have to use to the fact that Leader figures have changed, and this is basically what they are now. But this guy just really is exceptional looking. I mean, if you want more of a G1 Jetfire toy look, you can rotate this down, spin this around like so, bring this back up, and now you have these gigantic pillar things coming from his back, much like the G1 toy. So setting him to the side and bringing in the G1 toy, this is what you can basically see going on with the comparisons. And again, so much really does remind me of the original G1 toy. I guess some people would have a complaint that this guy's eyes are blue as opposed to the G1 toy that had the red eyes, but I could see why they made that blue, because it goes more with the Skyfire look. Plus they gave him blue light piping, so making that red would probably look strange. So I get why they changed that a little bit, but just so much about this. You can have a really cool G1 looking toy update that nicely homages the original toy. I mean, one thing that you can see here is you got all these red bits. Like, for example, here on the shoulders, or I'm sorry, the forearms, you got his guns, much like you had the armor here. You got these big giant things sticking out, much like those. You got the red armor on the outside of his legs. You got the red guns on the outside. One thing that I really wish that maybe a third-party company could do at some point, these just peg in there. You got these holes that just have little round pegs that clip in there. I would absolutely love it if they could somehow do a bit of an upgrade on here where instead of guns here, they're very similar to these pieces, or arm guards and things like that. I mean, that would look terrific. So third-party companies, get on that. Dr. Wu, someone, I don't know, but overall, this looks terrific. Now, if you don't want to have that G1 toy look, the other thing that's absolutely phenomenal, and getting this out of the way, is that you can make this look like a G1 Skyfire. Removing all these guns and things, I mean, you can take these bits off, just like so. Like I said, they all detach. They actually do combine into one big giant weapon. So we'll set that off to the side just like so. You can see what's going on. Now, I mean, Jetfire or Skyfire had a bit of a backpack, so you could leave that on there if you wanted to, or if you didn't want to. Like I said, this whole thing detaches. This just comes up right here. It gives them a little less of a backpack sort of look, but you can do that. And then this actual face piece detaches, and it's an actual mask, not a helmet like the original classic toy, but now you have a G1 cartoon Skyfire face on him. I mean, this is incredible. Everything about this toy is really very impressive. Now, some people have complained, and rightly so, I'm not going to say that it's not a valid complaint, that you got some hollow bits here in the arms. That does kind of look ugly. You also had that here in the upper part of the thigh, where it's not a full solid piece of plastic. You come around to the back of the legs, because of the transformation, these go up under or on the back of his legs. So I could totally understand where people would complain. Well, not necessarily about that, but definitely about the hollowness of the thighs. You got that hollow there on the inside here. This is kind of hollow. So there are some ugly parts on it, but I'm really still very impressed. The engineering just in general on this has absolutely blown me away. And by that, I mean, I really think they went that extra mile to make this figure a wonderful homage to both that G1 toy and G1 cartoon. As many of you know, the toy does not look like the cartoon, but they never gave us a cartoon representation of that toy. So they named the toy Jetfire. When they rebranded them and redesigned them and put them in the cartoons, they made them Skyfire. And I mean, for me, this is the look that I've always loved. This is why I bought that monstrosity that was Kronos, because I wanted a cartoon representation, and that was the Masterpiece version. This does not fit with Masterpiece scales at all. He's about the same height as MP10. This is more designed for classics. So using that as the base, here we have him next to the classic Starscream, which is a mold many people are familiar with. And as you can see, scale, this works beautifully. Skyfire in the cartoon was really big, one of the biggest Autobots before we got like Omega Supreme and any of the combiners and anything like that. So for me, this works absolutely perfect. Far better than the classic representation of Jetfire. And here you have the classic Jetfire, and I honestly, like I said, had really forgotten a lot about this figure until I pulled him back out, and I honestly now remember why this one kind of sucks so much. This guy is really a pain in the butt to stand. His articulation sucks. But you can see that while this Jetfire was a little bit bigger, this is a much better representation overall. Now for his articulation, his head is just on a bit of a swivel. It goes left and right, and then it goes up and down, but you can get a real nice upward motion with it. The shoulders here are on very kind of loose ratchet joints, but you can sort of hear them. They move forward and back. They move in and out at the lower part here. This entire section doesn't move. You can see that it actually swivels on the inside there. It also rotates at the upper part of the bicep, has much heavier ratchets here at the elbow. Unfortunately, doesn't rotate at the wrist. I know that's something that people have kind of complained about as well, and I really don't think that it's a deal breaker at all. I mean, you got the nice bicep swivel here, so you can still rotate it. It would have been nice if it was there, but it's not a deal breaker, like I said. Nothing here at the waist. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of junk right up under there, so you're never going to be able to get that wrist or waist articulation. Hips, you can hear heavy ratchet joints. They have a little bit softer ones on the outside. They also rotate at the upper part of the thigh. Bends here at the knee, also on nice ratchet joints. And then the ankles move forward and back. And you can see they are bent outward a little bit. So when you put them straight, the legs straight, it kind of makes the feet look a little bit weird. He still stands perfectly fine, but you do want to bend it out one notch just to make it look a little bit better, I think. Now, like I said, his gun does combine. You got the missile that fires. You can just take this, peg this right there. There's a whole bunch of different holes and pegs and everything, so you can line that up there. You can then peg this right there and then right there. Unfortunately, there is no clip point or peg section anywhere. Oh, and actually there is. I mean, they're on the outside, but that doesn't really do too much, to be honest. I wish there was a way that you could clip this on here that it would make it a giant massive cannon or something, but here's his gun, and for holding purposes, you can have him hold it fairly easily. The one thing that is actually also kind of neat is in his robot mode, if you choose not to use the Jetfire mask, you can actually take it and I'm going to get these off of here just so you can see a little bit better. There's a little groove section right on the top section. You can actually take this and groove this right on here, just like so. And you can actually have his face be there on the gun. I don't know why you would want to do that, but if you wanted to, you could. And it just gives you the ability to have that somewhere without necessarily having it on his actual face. Now, for me, the best look that I really do enjoy is, and yeah, you can see some scraping right there on the actual gun. So the chrome does kind of bug me the more that I'm discovering problems with it. It would just be better if it was this red plastic. I don't know how they could actually do that, but I am curious to see if actually Takara will come out with just the regular red painted version. Who knows? It's a possibility, but for my look, this is what I like. This is my preferred display option. Clip that on there, rotate this around, bring that back up, and then actually kind of hides that whole front section of the actual jet itself too. So, and then bringing this on there, clip that on just like so. Now it's kind of a pain in the butt. There we go. But for me, this is the look that I like. I mean, everything on this guy just looks wicked cool. And this is how I'm going to be displaying this guy. Now to transform him back, like I said, if you want to, you can remove all of his extra weapons and things attached to him. You don't have to, though. It doesn't even make it really all that much easier to do. So for me, I'm just going to leave it on there. Now, you can also take the mask off when you're transforming them, but for the sake of storage, I will put it back on just so I don't ever lose it. Now, we're going to straighten out his arms, just like so. Straighten out his legs, just like so. Take the heels, we're going to tuck those up along the back of his lower leg, just like that, and then we're going to rotate him around here at the upper part of the thigh, just like so, exposing these ugly thin bits right here. Then come to these arms, you want to pull the wing away slightly and then detach from the actual shoulders. So like I said, you're going to pull away from the wing, detaching that tab, and then unpeg from here, and then just kind of angle these down just like that. Take this, fold this down. You want to rotate the head all the way around. You could have did that at any point in time. Take these bits, fold these up like so. Take these, bring these back like that, just like that, and then clip these together, give these a nice little push to lock those together like so. Then bring these arms down. We're going to get these arms positioned a little bit better here in a minute. Then you can rotate these just like that. Then take these legs, rotate these around like so. Actually, I don't think I rotated that the right way. It's supposed to go like that, I'm sorry. You don't want to have the hollow part out. You want to rotate it around where the gun part's up. Sorry, rotate that around, bring that up like so. Now you do have another little tab section that's going to tab on the underside here of this jet piece. Where's it at? It's around here somewhere, so we'll get to that in a sec. But take this, loosen this. You can take this, lift this, accordion this up, and then fold this back down just like so. Give that a nice little push. That will bring the tab or the whole section underneath the wing right there in alignment with the wing. So just bend that. It's like 1 or 2 notches here at the knee. I think it's maybe actually 1. So bring that in like that. Make sure that these are straight as much as possible. Rotate this wrist around. Get that underneath there nicely. Make sure that that's all lined up and pretty looking. So then you bring this, get this wing out the way, then bring this up, lock that into place right there. You can bring the wings out, you can leave them in, whichever you want to do, kind of keep that there. Now this part, like I said, it's a little bit tricky. You're bending this down and then you have to fit this in here, but you kind of have to push fairly hard to get it to clear all that extra bit. Then make sure you get that all the way up so that these fold down nicely and cover that up. Fold this section down, give that a nice little push till it locks into place. You can take these wings, you can lift these up, just give a little bit of a extra flare along the sides there. You can bring these little wings out as well. You can store this underneath, but honestly this looks pretty stupid, I guess. So first we're gonna, let me pull this. I don't have very good fingernails, you guys know that. Fold that out just like that, then put that right underneath there. Like I said, I think that looks pretty dumb. Why would you want to do that? Just get that out of here. It's weapon storage though, so whoopie-doo. But here you have the leader class Jetfire back in his jet mode. Now for me, this figure is an absolute no-brainer. Whether you like Jetfire in terms of the toy or Skyfire in terms of the cartoon, this figure can give you both. By adding all these extra little bits, you can have a G1 looking jet toy. The face mask also gives you a robot mode that nicely resembles that G1 toy, and then leaving all these pieces attached also furthers that actual look. Removing these as well as the face mask now gives you the option to make a Skyfire toy. So as I said, whichever you want, you have with this. And that is what I really think is fantastic. Now, it's not a 10. There are some issues that I do have. The chrome, while it looks nice, has already started flaking in some areas, and that's really very unfortunate. That's probably my biggest gripe. There is some hollowness to some of the parts, like his thighs and his forearms, but that doesn't really bug me too much. The forearms, you can kind of get away from not even noticing it when you leave the guns attached to them. But jet mode here is great looking. The transformation is really very fun. It's pretty simple, but it's enjoyable to do. And there's a lot of pieces that, as I'm doing it, really do remind me of that old G1 toy. For example, the legs swinging back, the arms tucking up underneath, the chest kind of folding over on itself. I mean, a lot of it has basically like an updated sort of engineering that the G1 toy had. And I really dig that. I absolutely appreciate it and think it's a wonderful way to give us this toy. And the robot mode just looks stunning. It is not the intention of this to fit in masterpiece kind of collections. This is more designed to fit with those classic figures. And in doing so, I think it looks terrific. This has and will replace my original classic Voyager Jetfire figure. That guy's going into storage. This is now the shining example of Skyfire in my collection. So without a shadow of a doubt, I highly recommend picking this guy up. He should be hitting retail fairly soon, so good luck, but if you can't find him, go ahead and click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Big Bad Toy Store where you can pick this guy up and add him to your collection as soon as they get him in stock. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been optibotimus. Keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/teambotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, as well as see what I have coming up for future release. I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, to please thumb it up, comment, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.